Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, the place where we discuss all things USMNT y la Seleccion Mexicana. My name is Adrian. Joining me once again is my co-host Tocayo, Adrian. Adrian, what's good, man?
Hey, how's it going, dude? I don't know if I should be disappointed or excited about El Jimmy's first ever lista de convocados, but I guess I just say my thoughts for the pod, dude.
Yeah, we'll save it. It's his first lista, his first list there as a full-time. Well, he was kind of interim full-time at the Gold Cup, and now officially brought on board. He's the man. He's Mexico's man to take Mexico to the 2026 World Cup, and this is how he starts his era, man. His Jimmy years here. He has called in, what was it, around
24
24
players.
players. Yeah.
Yep.
And a big mixture of ligamx players and European-based players. I mean, it's not all the Euro guys, but it's a good mix, I think. And I mean, it should be overkill for these two matches, I feel. But interesting list nonetheless. I won't steal your thunder. I'll let you go ahead and go through that list, man, and then we'll react to what we see, man. So start us off with goalies.
Let's go. Let's go ahead and do it. As we predicted, we're gonna have Guillermo Ochoa from Salernitana, Luis Angel Malagón from America, and Toño Rodriguez from Cholos. I think maybe the biggest surprise still why they keep on calling up Toño Rodriguez, but to me, I think Toño Rodriguez gets a bad rep. He's been doing it all right with Cholos so far. I mean, it's Cholos nonetheless, one of the worst teams in Liga MX. But if you look at the games, he actually has some very nice interventions throughout every single match. And I think it's not necessarily unwarranted or uncalled for. Toño Rodriguez has definitely earned the spot to be the third goalkeeper. And it doesn't help that Carlos Acevedo, is not healthy right now. Still injured, and it's going to be like that for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Tijuana is 15th out of 18th in the league, but it's not necessarily his fault. It's the defense, and I mean, he does what he can, and I think, the call up is warranted. I don't think he might. I mean, it's probably going to be Mem one game and Malagon the other game, but he'll at least get experience there in camp. Cool. What do we got in defense, man?
Defense. All right. So here's when we start to see some mix of European players and Liga MX players. On the right back, you have Kevin Alvarez and Julian Araujo from Ude Palmas. As center backs, you're going to have Gilberto Sepúlveda, Jesus El Chiquete Orozco, and Johan Vasquez from Bologna. And as far as left back goes, you're going to have two options, either Jesus Gallardo from Monterrey or Jesus Angulo from Tigres. So it's just funny to see how many Jesuses we have on the list. We have like three defenders right now. Yeah. But overall, I think it's a solid defense. Gilberto Sepúlveda and Jesus Chiquete Orozco have been playing actually not too bad for Chivas during last season and the beginning of this season. I'm not a fan of Chivas, but that doesn't mean anything. I think they have earned their spot, and I really hope to see either one of them start or at least get some game time during these two matches.
I guess the big exclusion here would be Cesar Montes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of in limbo with his club, doesn't want to be there. We know he wants to force his way out to play in La Liga, not La Liga B. And I guess just that whole situation is kind of maybe the reason that he was called up.
The most recent thing that I read is that he's forcing a move, but also the Chinese owners of Espanyol are trying to sell him because apparently he's one of the highest rated players they have, and it looks like he's going to end up either Mallorca or Almeria. So that's one of the reasons why he's not here on the list.
I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but is there still time in the Spanish transfer window for him to move?
I think they have until September 13th to make moves internationally. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So we'll see if he makes a move then. All right, man. Before we move on, anybody? I mean, I'm looking at the list here, and it's usually the usual suspects, right? No weird call-ins or no really big omissions other than Cesar.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any big omissions. As I said, the two big not surprises, but the two good things that I see from this call-up is the two guys from Chivas. It's nice to see Jesus Angulo back on the roster. Overall, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have Jesus Gallardo, Kevin Alvarez, and Johan Vasquez with either Gilberto Sepulveda or Chiquete Orozco as the center backs. So, yeah, no big omissions, no big surprises, I think. Just good to see young players out there.
For sure. Who you got for us in midfield, man?
All right, so midfield is also another good, well, kind of a decent combination between Liga MX players and non-Liga MX players. We have, of course, Edson Alvarez from West Ham, Charlie Rodriguez, who he's not bad, but he's not necessarily the best one out there. You can definitely make a better choice, but okay, Carlos Rodriguez, Charlie Rodriguez from Cruz Azul. We have Luis Romo from Rayados, Eric Sanchez from Pachuca, Orbelin Pineda from AEK Athens. You also have Jordi Cortizo, who's a nice surprise to see here from Monterrey. You have your usuals on the name of Sebastian Carac from Tigres, and you also have El Piojo Alvarado from Chivas. And then one big surprise, at least for me, but
Oh
apparently,
man,
yeah, apparently it wasn't for a lot of people, is the return of a player that was kind of sort of segregated when El Innombrable Diego Coca was around in eltri, and that's in the name of HH Héctor Herrera. And no entiendo por qué lo están llamando. Apparently, he got with Jimmy Lozano in Houston whenever they were playing Gold Cup, and he mentioned to him that he wanted to be back, that he felt healthy, that he felt that he could contribute to the team. Um, I I want to think that he's getting called up because of the teams they're gonna play, which is Australia and Uzbekistan. They're not big teams, so I'm pretty sure Doña Fede and sus secuaces are like, all right, we have to bring on staple name, so people, flock to the matches, and I think that's one of the reasons why Jimmy Lozano, it's calling him. I'm not gonna say that I'm disappointed on Jimmy Lozano just now, because I have the feeling that even though he's calling Achache right now, doesn't mean that he's gonna keep on calling him every single time, and I really hope that's not the case. Um, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I can see that he brings experiencia. Uh, Puede ser ese jugador veterano que lo ayuda a orientar a los jóvenes. But other than that, man, he plays for Houston Dynamo, one of the worst teams in MLS. No respect to my boys out there in H Town, but come on, dude. If you if
yeah.
you if you come to me and tell me that there aren't any other midfielders in Liga MX or out there that can replace him, we have a big problem.
Achache was, if you remember earlier in the summer, the one that kind of gave that interview saying that, you know, we go to MLS, they forget about us, right? Um, like I guess they think our level drops or what, but he basically was very critical of La Federación, saying that as soon as you come over here, you're forgotten. And I don't think it was necessarily because he went to MLS that he hadn't been called up. I think it was more of the case that they were trying to get rid of that old guard of that failed in Qatar, and trying to kind of just move forward from that and not call any of those new old faces. Obviously they still called some, right, like Edson, but those were the younger guys in the group. They were trying to, I guess, not call the older gen, and I mean, he's been playing decent. He's been playing good, I guess, for Houston Dynamo standards, right? I mean, that's not hard to do.
Yeah,
Um, so he's the standout guy, obviously, but yeah, I don't think he's been doing enough to warrant a call up when there's so many younger, faster, more guys that are trying to break into La Seleccion, trying to make a name for themselves, and you're going to call up Achach.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was
And
interesting.
I mean, granted, we're not hating on him. He's been having a more than a decent season with Houston Dynamo right now. I think he's the leader on assists, and on the over the last few matches, he's been crucial for them. But come on, man. I mean, it's time to move on.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, call up Chicharito and Craclitos Vela, bro.
I mean, he's just a step away, dude. Fuck it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Damn.
All right, man. Well, yeah, I mean, good, solid midfield. Good
Yeah,
mixture.
I'd like to. I'm really glad that to see someone like Jordi Cortizo. He's a even though he plays for Rayados, I think he's been doing great with them. He's been starting lately. He has shown off that he's actually a go-to player for the team. He's capable of dribbling on the last third of the pitch, which is something that Rayados struggles a lot with. He's one of those players that we normally don't see with La Selección Mexicana, having that dribble, having that technique, something that we've been missing for over the last few years. So I'm excited to see him as as eltri player. I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, it should be good to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's not afraid to take on challenges and actually win them. Right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we see Uriel Antuna do that and always try to take on and lose the ball in the last third. And
Oh my god.
uh, yeah, well,
Yeah.
that let that lead us into the attackers.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. There were two real big question marks for you here, right?
Mm-hmm. So
Maybe
on
more
our,
than two.
yeah, on our previous episode, we weren't sure if we're gonna see that many European Legion players, but I guess we are. And two of our biggest questions were: are we gonna see some European Legion strikers showing up on this list? And now we have two. We have one in the name of Santi El Bebote Jimenez from Feyenoord, and then Raúl Jimenez from Fulham, dude. I was not expecting to see Raúl Jimenez here whatsoever. I know that we speculated during our previous episode that yeah, maybe he's gonna show up just because why not? It's not necessarily a FIFA friendly match, and he's he's I guess he's just a reliable name they can call upon. But I wasn't necessarily expecting him. I guess the fact that maybe Julian Quiñones' naturalization card hasn't arrived just yet, and that Henry Martin is not healthy just now, kind of sort of made Jimmy Lozano to pull from Fulham and be like, hey man, we need you here. Um, but I mean, let's give it to him. Let's give it to Raul. He's been playing decent with Fulham on this last few matches. He scored during Carabao Cup. He's been starting for Fulham pretty much every single match, which I'm surprised. So, man, I'm all on board on seeing Raul Jimenez back in that level before he got that nasty injury. Uh, but yeah, definitely a huge surprise to see him on the roster.
Call it a comeback for Raúl Jimenez, bro.
Hey man, if that's possible and he gets to the freaking Copa America healthy, and he's playing day week in and week out with Fulham, so be it. I mean, this only makes a more interesting challenge for Bobote Jimenez to keep up the good pace and show that he's the hair of that specific striker role.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it is Beoptes to lose, right? He's
Hmm.
probably the after his performance in the final, the Gold Cup. He's the number one striker undoubtedly.
Hmm.
He's the only striker for Mexico that's playing Champions League football this season.
Hmm.
So he'll be getting a lot of play time in Europe. So we'll see if Raúl can keep up and be a good second, or maybe give Jimmy Lozano a headache there trying to choose who he starts going forward. Um, the other two were even bigger question marks, weren't they?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we have three more players. One of them is a nice surprise to see here, and I think he's totally he won that call up, but I'll touch on that name in a minute. The other two ones, the other two mystery ones were Alexis Vega and Uriel Antuna. Um, let's start with Uriel Antuna. I honestly don't know what to say. I think Uriel Antuna is one of those cases where we all know he's definitely not cut for El Tri, but he's in a position on the pitch that benefits him. And what I mean with this is Mexico doesn't really have that many players on that role that can trump him from being called into El Tri. So we're going to continue to see Uriel Antuna whether we like it or not. He's just lucky for that reason, right? He continues to have those mistakes on the last third of the pitch.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna give it to him. He's fast. He knows how to dribble. If he just applies the same energy that he uses to, run as fast as he can to improve his decision making on the last third of the pitch, he can be a great asset for El Tri. But I don't really think that's gonna happen. Um, So I'm just gonna suck it up and Cyril Antuna start again for eltri in these next two matches.
Oh
As far
man.
as Alexis Vega go, I'm not a huge fan of Alexis Vega. I think he's an overhyped player. I think he's overvalued. He's also in the same boat as Uriel Antuna, where Mexico doesn't really have that many wingers that they can choose from. And the fact that El Tecatito Corona and Jimmy Lozano are trying to figure out their future in Europe, and with all honesty, they haven't been crucial for El Tri in the last year and a half. Uh, Sets up Uriel Antuna and Alexis Vega to take up those spots and see if we can make something out of those two guys. But I don't have that much faith on them, needless to say.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point. It's been forever since we saw Tecatito with Seleccion, right?
Hmm.
I mean, you had that brutal injury, but yeah, I mean, there are spots to as much as we don't like it. I mean, I've seen. I mean, Alexis has had some good moments with El3, and obviously he's performed well with Chivas. But after seeing the Gold Cup and Uriel Antuna, how he performed there, we weren't really too impressed, to say the
No,
least.
yeah,
I think there was one game where we were like, oh, I mean, he's got something. But there were many moments where a lot of the final third, the danger plays were lost and just dissolved because they went through Uriel Antuna and he just lost the ball. He
yeah,
would take it too far down the wing or down the flank, and he would go out just for a goal kick, or he would get bodied in the last third, or he try to take someone on. He's a good dribbler, but for some reason, when he gets, like you mentioned, into that final third, he loses focus, doesn't know what to do with the ball, can't cross one in to save his life.
hmm,
Um, but I don't know, man. In summary, I like the roster. I think it's a good roster, a mixture of veterans, European, upcoming Liga MX, established Liga MX players. Um, what do you grade his Jimmy's first roster?
I think I'm gonna put it on a B plus, maybe, close to an A minus. The fact that he's including someone like Chino Huerta in this roster, which is the last attacker on the list, it just goes to show that he's interested in making that generational change, but he's gonna make it gradually, right? I don't think this roster. Well, let me think this straight. I'm not disappointed with this roster just yet. I'm not disappointed with Jimmy Lozano with this call up. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he is in the lookout for those players that will commit to his style of play, that will stand behind him and make sure that he is as successful as he can be. This is his first call up, first official call up. And of course, we have to give him time to, try out players, to bring him in and see which one of them will commit and fulfill the duties that Jimmy Lozano wants him to do on the pitch. So, B plus to an A minus for me.
Yeah, solid rank, solid rating. Um, cool, man. Well, as we wrap this episode up, let's go ahead and mention that Mexico, like you said earlier, does play two September friendlies. They play Australia on September 9th in AT&T Stadium there in Arlington, Texas. And then they play Uzbekistan on September 12th in Atlanta on the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So yeah, we're gonna be obviously following those games when we having our six things we learned for both of those games. So stay tuned here, PPG. Adrian, man, as we wrap this up, dude, where can listeners find us?
They can also find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Puro Pinche Gol. We post stuff every now and then.
Yeah, be sure to follow us and let us know in the comments. We like interacting with you guys for sure. Who did you think was a surprise for this Jimmy Lozano's first official lineup? Were there any shocking omissions that you thought that Jimmy could have called in? Definitely like to hear from you guys. So yeah, make sure to drop a comment below. At the end, man, another good one with you, brother. I'll see you in the next one.
Take it easy.
See you, bro.